r/AskReddit created by routinereddit. What video game should get a sequel, but likely never will? The Saboteur open world GTA style game set in Nazi-occupied Paris, where you play as an Irish race car driver / ex-IRA soldier who goes around blowing up Nazi watchtowers and pro-Nazi radio towers. Oh, and your base of operations is in a secret room in the back of a titty bar, and there was a $2 DLC that made half the dancers topless. This would be my pick as well. So fun. And some of the crazy stuff that would happen, and blowing stuff up, or the AI just messing up like an Nazi blowing his own transport truck right over an SS officer. Such fun. And the whole black and white to color was amazing. I remember a mission that ended up in a firefight on an upper deck of the Eiffel Tower and getting shot and almost dying, so I just leaped off and jumped into one of the pools beneath it. Then I climbed out, shot a few Nazis, and stole a tank. There's so many stories like that with this game. Was playing on the PS3, and one of the last missions had you go to a farm or something up north to rescue someone, if I remember right. Driving up the road, which I assumed was the proper course, froze the system. Had to restart. Happened again. Thought I'd try one more time, but nope, still system-wide freeze. So fourth time being the charm, I said screw it, drove off-road, went around back, and caused all sorts of chaos. Don't think I was supposed to get the way I did, but it worked. Have to admit, the game looked better in black and white, and I guess red. Just so much more eerie. Knights of the Old Republic 2. Republic Commando. Edit. Guys, my inbox. Staff. I will never not say Republic Commando when this question is asked. The game was so ahead of its time. It had Rainbow Six style control for your teammates, and even the dang visors digitally wiped away droplets of rain. It was so cool, and there was so many small details like that just made it such a fantastically immersive experience. The Wookiee level was legitimately terrifying. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. I really want Skate 4. SK4TE. I mean, that alone should be reason enough. After the first one, they could have just SKA2E, A, SK83, SK4TE, 5K8E. What would I do with 5Ks? Portal 3. That has a better chance of coming out than most the games here. Valve can't count to 3. I agree. I'm still waiting on Left 4 Dead 3 or even Team Fortress 3. The main thing the TF2 community is waiting on is a new major update. That community should just be blessed they are getting updates at all. Games younger than it already have shut down servers. For real, I'm absolutely amazed at the longevity of TF2. It came out when I was a teenager and now I'm pushing 30. It's cause it's still fun, and nothing has managed to duplicate the way its gameplay worked. Overwatch was close, but the weapons diversity is unique. Also cause it's free. As much as I loved Portal, I don't want a sequel. Where could they take it? Chell's story was completed in 2. It would be insanity to bring her in again. That said, if you haven't played it, there is an overhaul mod for it called Portal Stories. No, that is worth a playthrough. Then have literally anyone else as a main character. As much as I enjoy the writing in Portal, I'm not that attached to any of the characters. The game doesn't need Chell as the silent protagonist to work. They could use Blue and Orange from the multiplayer. They have plenty more storytelling potential. Spore. I want the Spore we were promised but didn't get, and I want it served over EA's smoking carcass. That 2006 footage is still one of a kind. What a travesty. Even with all of Will's I still love watching him talk about it and showcasing it at GDC 2005. Hate to interrupt a good, old-fashioned EA circular jerk, but Spore's direction was the result of a split in the development team between the Qt and Science teams. Will Wright made the decision to go with Qt and has accepted the responsibility for that decision. Moreover, and more importantly, this is all assuming that Qt was inferior to the Science version. At the end of the day, Spore's failure was not limited to its aesthetics or so-called simplified gameplay, and judging from the 2006 GDC footage, the gameplay remained largely unchanged from release. Even if they'd managed to make an evolution sim, it still suffered from a disjointed experience as each stage of evolution was a mini-game, which you can see exists in the aforementioned 2006 GDC footage. In my honest opinion, the problem with Spore is a conceptual one. Trying to gamiFi evolution in an authentic way is contradictory, since evolution is largely a passive phenomenon of attrition, whereas games require more direct input. If you want to play the real Spore, play Simurf. That's a game that models evolution and environmental attrition quite well, but it also largely plays itself. You can set your environmental parameters and just hit FFWD and see how things evolve, but it's not the most fun sim game Max has ever published, that's for sure. At the end of the day, you can blame EA all you want, but the problems with Spore falls on its concept and execution. The assumption that Spore was undermined by going cute in order to appeal to less casuals is a flawed one. Did Sleeping Dogs ever get a sequel? If not Sleeping Dogs, fantastic game. Edit. Thanks very much for the awards, fellow redditors. It really does make me so happy to see what I thought was an under the radar game getting so much love. Have an awesome weekend, everyone. You look like you could use a pork bun. A man who never eats a pork bun is never a whole man. Hey, it's Sweaty. I need a car. A car? Tackler. I'll be there right away. Love that game. I probably enjoyed too much dressing as SWAT with my police cruiser and watching cutscenes where I was definitely not an undercover cop. I'm not a cop, Wei Shen said while wearing his SWAT uniform. You really think I'm a rat? After everything I've done for you? Radio chimes. Officer Wen, report back to police HQ. There's more information coming in. Crimson Skies. Alternate Earth 1930s steampunk with sky pirates, giant Nazi mechas and oak flying. Update for a new console. Give it a little more open world gameplay and some ground missions and bam. That's a winner. I always look for this on these types of question. You may know this, but there are two versions / installments of Crimson Skies, one for PC and one for Xbox. Also there's a board game and Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, so basically a movie as well. The open world of the Xbox version, which was canonically the sequel, I believe, was great, and there was some gameplay element like the turrets and some of the multiplayer modes that were pretty cool. The PC version though, it had crazy customization of planes and a great soundtrack and all sorts of crazy depth. You could play in first person with fully modeled cockpits. Completely changes the feel of the game. I found out about it a few years ago when I managed to get it to run on Windows 10. The graphics are kind of bad. Oddly enough, the cockpits are higher quality, even though they are an on default option, and the world is confined to missions, but I'd say this is the better version overall. If the two games were combined right and the story / voice acting was the same slightly over the top, it'd be a killer game. Heck, for additional multiplayer, throw 100 planes in the air and make it a battle royale, but it'd have to have a story mode. It had just the right balance of arcade to realism and surprisingly deep lore. Stick to that and I'm happy. The PC was my first introduction, but I lost that years ago and have never been able to find another version. I still have my original Xbox and keep it pretty much for Crimson Skies and Halo Combat Evolved. James Bond games. Like, what the heck happened? GoldenEye was top tier entertainment at the time. You'd think that a FPS game based on being James freaking Bond would still dominate. None of the James Bond games after GoldenEye even came close to that level of popularity. It's not all that surprising when you think about it. GoldenEye was like lightning in a bottle. Rare set out to make a game, and somehow it just came together and worked. Edit. To clarify here, I'm not saying that GoldenEye is objectively the best James Bond game, but it is objectively the most renowned and popular. Time Splitters. That series was amazing, and the multiplayer was ahead of its time, particularly the map editor. I'd love to see what a modern day version would look like. Scrolled way too far to find this. That game had everything. The campaign was fun and had jokes, but the multiplayer and challenge modes were where it thrived. I loved going through challenges to unlock more ridiculous players, and the level editor was surprisingly advanced for its time. A Time Splitters game in this generation could be incredible. Just playing a flying multiplayer split screen with my sister, brother and a bunch of fat Tony bots in 2 brings back so many memories. Was really heartbroken when my dad sold our PS2 and entire game collection, which had Time Splitters 2, Future Perfect, Baldur's Gate and both Champions of North. I'd kill to get it all back. Hi. Mod of the Time Splitters subreddit here. It warms my heart to see people still remembering these games after, well, 20 years now. That's how old the series pretty much is. Reddit posts like these are blessed. Much love from r/Time Splitters. Freedom Fighters. Dang, I love that game. Addendum. Holy crap, way more people like this game than I ever knew. To my fellow freedom fighters, I salute you. Came here for this. Going from one map to another, taking out the secondary objectives. To make another map easier was such a good way to make a game more tactical. And sneaking around, climbing up pipes, taking out isolated enemies really make me feel like I was in an insurgency. I probably replayed the campaign like 15 times. And then by the end you have a small army and assault Rikers Island across a frozen Hudson River.